Hello students, I Sunita Pawar, lecturer of ENC department, HAP and Trust Polytechnic, Nirsoshi. So today we will see the second unit of data communication and networking, that is networking protocols and OSI model. So on this chapter you are getting the question up to the 20 marks. Now we will see the need of the protocol layered in organization. So first one, the layers work independently. Second, the functions of different layers become as discrete as possible. Changes to one layer do not necessarily require changes to any other layers. To resolve the capability or a compatibility issue with other network manufacturers, other system from PC to mainframes, and also with the different types of operating system and application software. To facilitate open interconnection of a computer system, individual layers provide service to the layers above them and to process data from the layers below them. Now we will see the logical connections are used in the communication. First is the datagram approach, that is a connectionless packet switching, and a second virtual circuit approach, that is a connection oriented packet switching. So when you are getting the questions, that is a explain connection oriented and connectionless protocol, that time you have to write the answer for the coming slides in short only. So both types you should explain in the brief only. So without diagram also you can explain, that is a starting explanation is very important. So this one is the datagram approach or connectionless packet switching is there. So in this host A is sending the data packet to the host B, and in between there is a number of the routers are there. In this method, each packet is considered as a totally independent packet from all others, even when these are multiple packets sent by same source to the same destination for the same message. Each packet acts as an independent and actually follow different route. In figure, computer A is sending 4 packets to another computer B. These 4 packets belong to the same original message but travel via different route, and also can arrive at the destination B at a different order and at different time. Destination device requires buffer memory to store all the packets and at the end to rearrange them to form the original message. Each packet must have a header containing the source destination address and packet name and CRC, etc. Now we will see the virtual circuit approach or connection oriented packet switching. In this, there is a number of the hosts are there and number of the routes are there. So in that connection oriented, the connection is placed between the sender and receiver before the data transmission. In this, all packets belongs to the same message, take the same route from the source to the destination. Based on the network conditions at the beginning, a single route is chosen from source to the destination before actual data transfer takes place. A unique virtual circuit number, that is a VC number, is allocated to path between the source and the destination. Each node on the path maintains just 2 entries, that is a VC number and the address of the next node to which the packet must be forwarded to reach the destination. During actual communication, this same route is used for the complete duration of that communication. Next, we will see the different functions of a OSI model. So in the OSI model, there is a total 7 layers are present. So first one layer, that is a physical layer. Second, data link layer. Third, network layer. Fourth, transport layer. Fifth, session layer. Sixth, presentation layer. And seventh is the application layer. So at side by they are showing here um, layers diagram from the bottom to the top. So at the bottom there is a physical layer is there, and at the top level there is a application layer is there. So these are the 7 layers of a OSI model. Now we will see the this one is the list of the layers in OSI model. Now we will see the individual layers. So first one is the physical layer. The physical layer is concerned with transmitting raw bits over communication channel. It deals with the electrical and mechanical specifications of the cable, connectors and interfaces. The physical layer takes care of the following factors: signal encoding, representation of 0 and 1. Second function, type of medium and its characteristics. So whenever they are sending the data or all these, then they are considering the type of the medium, which one is used and its characteristics. Bit synchronization, either they are using the synchronous or asynchronous transmission. Type of transmission, either they are using the serial or a parallel transmission. Fifth, transmission mode. So during the transmission, which mode is used? That is a simplex or half duplex or a full duplex. Topologies. In the network, either they are using the mesh topology, ring topology, bus, star or hybrid topology. Multiplexing. They are concerned about the different multiplexing, that is a FDM or a TDM. So these are the main specification or following factors it take care of by this physical network only. Next, data link layer. Data link layer is responsible for transmitting a group of bits between the adjacent nodes. The group of bits is generally called a frame or a packet. The data link layer performs the following functions. Addressing. Header and trailer are added containing the physical address of the node. Flow control. The devices that communicate on a network do not transmit and receive at the same rates. At a sending system transmit faster than the receiving system. So flow control is very important. Media access control, that is the MAC protocol is there. In LANs, it decides who can send data, when and how much. It all is controlled in the data link layer by using the MAC protocol. Frame synchronization. Data are sent in blocks called frames. The beginning and end of each frame must be recognizable. Error control. It is process of detecting and correcting transmission errors. Node to node delivery. Finally, it is responsible for the error-free delivery of the entire frame to the next node. Now, network layer. The network layer is responsible for the source to destination delivery of packets across the network. A network layer performs the following functions. First is the routing. It is a process of finding the shortest path between the source to destination for sending packets. The criteria for measuring path length could be distance, bandwidth, average packet, cost, mean queue length, delay. These all are considered and they are finding the shortest path. Congestion control. Congestion control on maybe there a congestion on a network is like a congestion on roads only. Congestion control is the process of limiting the number of packets in the subnet. Logical address. Source and destination logical address, that is IP addresses, are mentioned in the network layer only. Address transformation. Converting logical address to physical address, that is the ARP protocol is working in this network only. Accounting and billing. Accounting function produce billing information depending on the number of messages sent by each customer. Source to destination error-free delivery. Source to destination error-free delivery of the packet. Without error, they are deliver the packets to the destination. They are giving the guarantee. Now we will see the transport layer. The transport layer is responsible for end-to-end delivery, free end-to-end error-free delivery of the entire message. The transport layer performs the following function. First, host-to-host message delivery. Provide reliable, cost-effective data transport from the source to destination computer. Application to application communication. The transport layer enables communication between two applications running on the different computers. Segmentation and reassembly. The transport layer break a message into a packets and sequence number and use the sequence number at the destination to reassemble the original message. Connection. The transport layer might create a logical connection between the source and the destination for the duration of the complete message transfer for better control over the message transfer. Now, session layer. The main functions of a session layer are to establish, maintain and synchronize the interaction between two communicating hosts. The important functions of a session layers are first, dialog control. This layer decide which user or application send data and at what point of time, and whether the communication is simplex, half duplex or full duplex. Session and subsession. The session layer divides a session into subsessions for avoiding retransmission of entire message by adding checkpointing feature. Synchronization. It decides to order in which data need to be passed to the transport layer. Session closer. This layer ensures that the session between the host is closed gracefully. Next, that is the last one. That next one layer of the OSI model, that is a presentation layer. The responsibility of the presentation layer are as follows. First, translation. The translation between the sender and the receiver message formats is done by the presentation layer if two formats are different. Encryption. The presentation layer performs data encryption and decryption for security. Compression. For efficient transmission, the presentation layer performs data compression before sending and decompression at the destination. Now, last layer of the OSI model, that is the application layer. It is the topmost layer in the OSI model, enables a user to access the network. The responsibilities of the application layer are as follows. First one, network abstraction. Provide an abstraction of the network to an end user and an application. File access and transfer. It allows a user to access, download or upload file from or to remote host. Mail service. It allows the user to use the mail services. Remote login. It allows remote login into the remote host. World Wide Web allows user to access the web pages. So these are the 7 layers of the OSI model. So on this OSI model, you are getting the question for the 10 marks, and this is the repeated question. Now we will see the interaction between the layers of OSI model. So here is the two hosts are there, that is the one host 1 and host 2. So here is a solid line is there, that one is the physical path is there, and dotted lines are represented logical path, the connections are there. So this one is the interaction between the two layers. So physical to physical, there is a physical connection is available, and remaining all the layers is logically connected to the each other only. Define frame. Frames are the result of a final layer of encapsulation before the data is transmitted over the physical layer. A frame is the unit of transmission in a link layer protocol and consists of a link layer header followed by a packet. Each frame is separated from the next by an interframe gap. That is the frame. Now we will see the concept of the framing. Framing of data is done in the data link layer. Data link layer separates a message from one source to the destination or from other message to other destination by adding a sender address and the destination address. The destination address defines where the packet is to go. The sender address helps the recipient acknowledgement the recipient. The whole data packet in one frame that is not normally done. One reason is that a frame can be very large, making flow and error control very inefficient. When a message is carried in one large frame, even a single bit error without a single bit error is occurred, then retransmission of the whole message is required. When a message is divided into smaller frames, a single bit error affect only that small packet, and then we can request for retransmit that small pocket only. Now we will write a short note on error control and error flow control. Now first we will see the error control. So this question you are getting for the 5 marks and this one is a repeated question in the exams. For now we'll see first error control. Network must be able to transfer data from one device to another with complete accuracy. Data transmitted from source to destination can be become corrupted due to many factors like unpredictable interference from heat, magnetism, and other forms of electricity. This is known as error. Reliable system must have a mechanism for detecting and correcting such errors. In data link layer, the term error controls refers to error detecting and retransmission of error packet. Error detection is ability to find the presence of error that occurs due to noise in the course of transmission from the transmitter to the receiver. That is the error control. Now we'll see the flow control. Flow control is a set of procedures that tells the sender how much data it can transmit before it must wait for acknowledgement from the receiver. Any receiver device has a limited speed at which it can process incoming data and a limited amount of memory to store incoming data. The receiving device must be able to inform the sending device before those limits are reached and to request that the transmitting device send fewer frames or to stop temporarily. Incoming data must be checked and processed before they can be used. Each receiving device has a block of memory called a buffer reserved for storing incoming data until they are processed. If buffer fill up, the receiver must be able to tell the sender to halt transmission until it is once again able to receive. Now we will see the concept of encapsulation and decapsulation. So on this your topic also you are getting the question for the 5 marks, and this one also repeated question is there and also is in question bank. The process of converting the data into digital form is called encapsulation. When data moves from upper layer to lower layer of OSI model, data will be repackaged with lower layer headers. The process of converting digital form into original data is called decapsulation, as the data moves up from lower layer to the upper. Each layer unpack the corresponding headers. So this one is the explanation about the encapsulation and decapsulation.